What's up guys, Mitchell Gonzales, the Bearded Realtor here. Hey, are you thinking about making a move to Colorado and you're trying to figure out what the main differences are between Denver and Boulder? Well, you're in luck. I'm here today to talk about all of the key differences between living in Denver and living in Boulder. So, let's hang out. What's up you guys, Mitchell Gonzales, the Bearded Realtor here. If you've seen one of my videos before in the past, welcome back. If you're checking out one of my videos for the very first time, make sure that you do click that red subscribe button below, as I do post weekly content all about living in and moving to the Colorado area. Along with that, as much as I love making these videos, I love helping people find their dream homes even more. So with that being said, I am a licensed broker in Colorado. So if you have any questions about real estate, you're looking to buy, sell, invest, whatever it may be, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, write me an email. I'm available 24/7 to answer any questions that you may have. So with that being said, guys, today we are here to talk about Denver versus Boulder. And I felt like in this epic battle of two cities, where a better location to film than right by my boxing posters. We've got Mayweather versus Pacquiao, Mayweather versus Cotto. You can't see it, but Mayweather versus Canelo. Mayweather won all of them. So after this video, it's up for you to decide which city is the Floyd Mayweather of Colorado. But in this video, I'm going to go over the main differences between the two cities. So I do work with a lot of out-of-state clients, and more often than not, the first city that they mention is either Denver or Boulder or both. And a lot of those reasons why is probably because they are pretty much the two most popular, if not two of like the three most popular cities in Colorado. So when people are thinking about moving here, it's probably the two of the first cities that they're thinking about. And honestly, like, I'm a Colorado native and I have lived in both areas, Denver metro area and Boulder, and the two are like polar, and I wouldn't say polar, but they are very, very different cities, very different feels, very different vibes. So hopefully this video helps you understand the main differences between them. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the location of each one, kind of what the atmosphere is like. I'm going to talk a little bit about the shopping and the restaurants, what type of attractions they have. I'm going to talk about the economy of each one and the job opportunities. And of course, I'm going to finish off by talking about the different housing options. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, so I'm going to get started here by talking about the location and kind of the size of each city. So location, Denver's kind of like right in the middle of Colorado. It's very central. It has a lot of surrounding cities. You're going to be about a half an hour from the mountains. It seems like a lot of people, when they're moving out here, they want to kind of know the location from the mountains. If you kind of see it on the map, Denver's, basically directly west of the mountain, directly east of the mountains. You would think I would know that being from here. It is about half an hour east of the mountains. And so great location, very, city vibe. Then Boulder is about half an hour from Denver, and it is directed right along the foothills. So basically, it's almost like you're living in a giant park in Boulder. It's like, it's very much for people who are very outdoorsy and everything. So they're about a half an hour apart, but Boulder's going to give you, it's going to be much closer to the mountains, whereas Denver is going to be much more central to a bunch of other cities. Size-wise, Denver, you're looking at right around 155 square miles, population of about 715,000, which puts you at about 4,700 people per square mile. In Boulder, you're looking at right around 27 square miles, population of 108,000. So that puts you at about 4,100 people per square mile. So both of them are very densely populated. Denver a little bit more so, and I think the main reason is because they have a lot of really big condo buildings. So there's some areas in Denver that are going to be extremely densely populated. So I think overall it's like you're going to get the same vibe when it comes to density of the population. But overall, yeah, they're about a half an hour apart. Main difference, Boulder is going to be much closer to the foothills than Denver. So next thing I'm going to talk about is kind of the atmosphere of each city. And so they both are really big on like art and culture. So both cities are going to get like a lot of really cool different artsy things like all around the city. Both really big on like the music vibe and in museums and things like that. The thing with Denver is that it's more of like a city that has several good sized parks in it, which is really great. You've got like Wash Park, you've got Confluent Park, you got City Parks. There's a lot of great parks over there. There's also several suburbs surrounding it. So in Denver, you have the downtown area, and then you have several really cool suburbs that give you different vibes as well. So I think that's comes with the larger size. Whereas, like I was saying earlier, Boulder is more like a city that is just on a large park. So obviously it's very densely populated, but you move to Boulder because you love the outdoor atmosphere. Like you love the idea of being able to just like get to the mountains so easily, go on a hike, things like that. So they do still have a lot of outdoorsy things to do in Denver, but you're not right next to the foothills, which I think is what is really one of the big draws to Boulder, is how close it is to that. Along with that, with Denver, it's being more of a city, so it's going to be a lot of young professionals and like a wide range of different people. Boulder is home of University of Colorado, so if you don't know that, that's where CU is. So it's more of a college town. So a lot of people that live there go to the college or possibly work at the college. So you're going to have more of a college vibe, college town type over in Boulder, along with all of your people that work there. So that's kind of the vibe that you're going to get over there. So along with that, Denver is obviously the capital of Colorado, so it's where the capital is. Along with that, you have a lot of like really big skyscrapers, so you're literally in the middle of a city. Whereas the cool thing about Boulder, the tallest that you can make a building over there is, I believe, 55 feet. So there's not any really tall buildings, and they want to keep all the buildings short there because of like the views and things like that. So they're kind of trying to do that in Boulder. So I think that's going to be like a huge difference, is that obviously just the huge buildings that you have in Denver are not going to be popping up in Boulder. So I think those are some of the main differences atmosphere-wise between the two. City versus right along the foothills. Big buildings, not big buildings. So next I'm going to talk about is the shopping and also just kind of like the restaurants over there, because let's be honest, whenever you're somewhere, you need to shop, you need to eat, right? And so they're both going to actually be, I think, pretty comparable in this area. I can't really say that like one is better or drastically different than the other. So Denver's got a lot of really great shopping options. You have Cherry Creek Mall, which is kind of like the high-end mall in the area, where there's a lot of, you're going to have like your Louis Vuitton. I don't know. There's like, Tory Burch. I think there's probably a Burberry store there. That's where they sell like the Rolexes and the big old diamond rings. Been there enough. I should know more stores. But Cherry Creek, you've got 16th Street Mall, which is just kind of like going right through the middle of downtown, where there's a lot of different shopping options, big stores, big restaurants. In Boulder, you have 29th Street Mall, which is a little bit newer. It's an outdoor shopping center where you've got a lot of great stores over there. So maybe you've heard of Pearl Street Mall, which is also kind of like the oldest kind of shopping center in the area. It's a pretty cool outdoor mall where it's all just a walking road. You can't drive on it going down Pearl Street and everything. And there's a lot of great shops over there, high-end shops, a lot of different options over there. A lot of great restaurants off of Pearl Street, which brings me to the restaurant options. So I think you're going to have a little bit of a different feel on the restaurants in each area. So when I think of restaurants in Denver, I think of like higher end, like steakhouse, seafood, sushi. Boulder still has those, but it's kind of almost more of like an organic, like farm. A lot of them are more farm to table types of things. They obviously still have their steakhouses and seafood, but it seems like it's kind of going to be a little higher end in Denver, if you ask me, when it comes like the steak and seafood. So in Denver, some of the popular options, you've got Garden Grace, you've got Capital Grill, you've got Ocean Prime, you've got Sushi Den, you've got Root Down, you've got Edge Steakhouse. A lot of great options over there. And they also have several food halls, which I've talked about, where it's basically a cafeteria like on steroids, where it's a bunch of like high-end chefs, really top quality places in these food halls. So along with that, in Boulder, you have things like the kitchen, you have things like Jack's Fish House, the Sink. I think kind of one of the signature restaurants over in Boulder is the Flagstaff House, which is over in Flagstaff, which is like right along the foothills, right once you're getting into the mountains. It's just an absolutely beautiful restaurant, breathtaking views because you're right on the edge of the foothills. You can see all of Boulder. Awesome experience, top-notch service. So overall, I think when it comes to shopping, restaurants, you can't go wrong with either city. All right, so if you're thinking about moving to Colorado, you're probably also interested in what kind of attractions or outdoor activities or just activities in general are there in each city. And the good thing is that they both have a lot of options and activities. I think Boulder's going to be a little bit heavier on like outdoor activities and things like that, but Denver is going to have like more total different things to do just because it's a larger city. That's where the capital is. So first thing is I'll talk about the parks a little bit. I know I talked about this earlier, but some of the main parks in Denver include Wash Park, which is it's a beautiful park, a lot of very high-end homes surrounding it. You've got City Park, you've got Confluence Park, you have Sloan's Lake, which is becoming extremely popular right now. So those are kind of some of the parks in Denver. And like I said, Boulder is almost like one giant park, but Chautauqua Park is obviously, I mean, not obviously, you might not know that. It's like probably one of the most beautiful parks you can go to. It's right along the foothills. That's where like everyone gets their senior photos. I got my engagement photos there. It's absolutely beautiful. You have the Flatirons basically where there's just a ton of different places where you can go hiking, rock climbing, mountain biking, pretty much anything that you can imagine you can do in Boulder. So along with that, like I was saying, culture's really big on both of them, and music scene is pretty big. I think you're definitely going to have more options. You're going to get bigger names being drawn to Denver, but Boulder also has a lot of great options. So there's definitely some bigger venues in Denver that are a little more popular. You've got Bluebird Theater, you have Mission Ballroom, you have the Paramount Theater, Ogden, Fillmore. There's so many great theaters in Denver that draw a lot of big names over there. In Boulder, the main ones are Boulder Theater and Fox Theater, so they definitely get some good names there, but it's not going to be quite as big or obviously as many shows as Denver because Denver just simply has more theaters. So along with that, activities, if you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know I am a huge sports guy. Now, every major sports team in Colorado is located in Denver. Now, obviously, Boulder's only a half an hour away, so it's not like it's that far of a drive to get to any of these venues, but you basically have, obviously, you've got the Broncos, the Rockies, the Nuggets, the Avalanche, well, even the Rapids, the soccer team, the Mammoth, the lacrosse team. They're all in Denver. You have University of Denver, where yours truly went. And you've got great hockey, lacrosse programs. They have basketball, soccer over there. So really, I mean, there's probably a sporting event almost every night that you can go to in Denver. Boulder, I mean, they do have the Buffs, which have some fantastic sports programs. We are really optimistic about Coach Prime being in town, so hopefully he can get the football team turned around. Our basketball team seems to always be kind of hovering as, a good team, but, maybe this is the year that they'll be really good because it seems like, the Prime effect is having hopefully an impact on all of the sports teams. So along with that, there's a lot of great museums and zoos in Denver. You're going to have more options over there than you will, say, in Boulder. So you've got several different art museums. You've got the Museum of Nature and Science, which is one of my favorites. You have the Denver Zoo, which is obviously very popular around here. You have the aquarium. So a lot of different types of museums and different things that you can go to. You do have the Museum of Boulder in Boulder, and then also the planetarium. which is pretty popular in Boulder, pretty fun to go to. There's also a planetarium in Denver, but overall, I think for a wider range of different activities, I think Denver is going to be the better option. But for if you're just like the type where you want to be outdoors all the time and have endless amounts of outdoor activities, Boulder is probably going to be the better option for you in that aspect. All right, so if you're thinking about moving out here, odds are that you are curious about job opportunities. Maybe you already have a job lined up and that's why you're looking. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I want to move to Colorado and then I'll get the jobs figured out. Good thing is both cities have a lot of job opportunities. They both have pretty low unemployment rates and everything. So kind of some of the main areas that you're going to be looking at, some of the top employers in each area. Since Denver is the city of the capital, you're going to have a ton of like government related jobs with, just the U.S. government, the state of Colorado, city of Denver, a lot of Denver public schools jobs. That's where a lot of the job opportunities are. Obviously, you have your share of like tech companies and things like that. You're going to have a lot of different healthcare options just because there's a ton of hospitals in the Denver area. So you might have something in healthcare that's available. Along with that, you have like your CenturyLink, Xfinity, Dish are all in Denver. So if you're looking at telecom, then those are all options. In terms of job opportunities in Boulder, now since like I said, it is a college town, a lot of people that live there, CU, University of Colorado, is one of the main employers. There's a ton of people that work for CU. Along with that, Boulder Valley School District, there's going to be a lot of opportunities there as well. There's community health, so there's some health options as well. And then there's a lot of engineering tech companies. You've got Ball Aerospace, you have IBM, you have Google that just relocated. So that's the nice thing is they both have a lot of opportunities, and then they also have a lot of opportunities in the surrounding areas. So you can move to Colorado knowing that we do have a very healthy economy, a lot of job opportunities in both of those areas. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is the housing options, and this is strictly going to be on the purchase side. I personally don't do too much with the rentals, but you can imagine the rental market is probably going to be similar when you have a comparison between the two cities. So the main numbers I'm going to run by you guys in terms of housing options. Now, note there are a ton of housing options in both areas, but first I'm going to talk about the median price of a single family home in both cities. So as of the filming of this video, which is June 2023, the median price for a single family home in Denver is about $650,000, which is still pretty reasonable compared to a lot of the cities, a lot of different states in the country. Like you can get a pretty good house for mid sixes in the Denver area. Now, the median home price in Boulder, when I filmed this, $1.3 million. So what that means is a single family home in Boulder is almost twice as much as one in Denver. In terms of attached homes, Denver, you're looking at right around 431,000. Boulder, you're looking at about 539. So there's not as much of that difference there. You're still talking like 30-40% higher in Boulder, but your housing is going to be much more expensive in Boulder. So really Boulder, that's going to be for people that really are looking for, they have that higher budget. Your money is not going to go as far in terms of housing, but you just love Boulder. You want to be in Boulder. You want to be close to the foothills. Then Boulder is for you. If you're the type of person where you're like, I want to get more house for my money, then Denver is definitely going to be the better option. If you're looking at a single family home in Boulder, I mean, realistically, you got to be over $1 million in terms of budget. Whereas in Denver, you can still get something very nice, something that'll be great for you, great for your family in the sixes. There's a lot of options. There's just a lot more houses in Denver than there are Boulder. So with that, I mean, it's just supply and demand. A lot of people want to be in Boulder. Like I said, it's a little over 100,000 people there, which means there's not a ton of houses and there's not a ton of room for growth. Whereas Denver, there's still new builds popping up. There's that opportunity. So I think that's going to be one of the big differences is the cost of housing, the cost of living. It's going to be much higher in Boulder than it is in Denver, which is fine for a lot of people. That's still what you want. But that is obviously something that if you are making a move out here, you have to be aware that it is going to be more expensive in Boulder. So if you do still want to be close to Boulder, maybe you watch this video and you're like, hey, Boulder totally sounds like it's for me. I like that Denver budget a little bit more. The good news is, I live in the Boulder area. Well, I kind of live the same distance from both, but I know both areas very well. There's a lot of great cities just outside of Boulder that you can get. Your dollar will go a lot farther in terms of housing. So if that's you, then definitely give me a call. Let me know. We can find the right city for you. But overall, that's the main differences between the housing for both Denver and Boulder. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you learned something new about the main differences between Denver and Boulder. Maybe this video helped you decide that you like one city over the other. Maybe you watch this video and you're like, God, I don't know if I want to live in either one of those cities. Well, good news is there's a lot of other great cities in the area that I'd be happy to chat with you about. So with that being said, if you have any questions about Denver, about Boulder, about any other city in the area, you have any questions about housing, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, write me an email. I'm available 24/7 to answer any questions you might have. Along with that, if you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you do click that red subscribe button below. As like I said, I do post weekly content all about living in and moving to the Denver metro area. So with that being said, thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. Bearded Realtor, signing off.